Hey everyone, welcome to episode 1 of This Week in the Random Gambling League. Yes, it's your esteemed host, even though this is only episode 1, I get it, David Baumgardner, along with my two analysts, subject matter experts, Alan and Gary. And we're going to recap the games that have been played so far, as well as update the group on a few rule changes, such as Buffalo will win every game going forward. With that aside, there's a little sound wonkiness. I'll try to make it better. I hope you enjoy it. It's all meant to be fun. Here we go. I'm going to cut. So, one of the things that I was just kind of curious, we've only played 3 games. I have them all here in case anybody's interested.
Are you referencing the Dirty Dozen League?
I'm talking about the Dirty Dozen League. You are correct, sir.
Okay.
Hey, but before we get into that, you had made a post about your suggested rule, and you kind of were going through the whole process of, I'm talking to Alan, you had gone through this whole process of how you think, do you want to let the other guy change the play? Should both people be allowed to change the play? And I just, I think it kind of goes to maybe talk a little bit about how how a play should be resolved in general. Because I know everybody kind of wants to do it their own way. Some people will hike when they're on offense, and some people won't hike when they're on defense. What's kind of the commissioner's view on that issue?
Well, I take from Ron, basically the inventor of DDS. I realize he took it from Sports Illustrated. And I used the protocol established in his league that I had the pleasure to play for several years. And I think that's a key thing, is to have an established protocol. And 2 or 3 things. One thing that's fairly new, and it started with Gary and I think Scott, someone else I played. When they have 2 things. The first one is when they have those, I call them injury timeouts. When a timeout pops up you didn't call, some people say, the person on defense, like the offense will have an injury timeout. And teammates got a timeout, you got to call it. Well, then you hike the ball. Well, then some people, Gary sort of jokes about it's a calling from God to change your karma or whatever. Not God, Gary, but karma. And and there are times when you get a timeout, because this game played live creates nervous and apprehension if you're a competitor, like we should be in our. We laugh and joke about it. But the protocol should be, when there's an injury timeout, you should have to change your play. And by changing your play, I don't mean literally changing your play. I mean re-entering. So if Gary is on offense, he calls a 2, I call a D, and there's an injury timeout, then Gary can just re-enter, and he can do a 2 or he can do whatever he wants. And then I'll re-enter his defense. That way there's no, because I've had it where I've been playing somebody, and I'll have an injury timeout, and I'll sort of second-guess myself and go, hey, I want to change my play. And then the defense hikes the ball, and I haven't had a chance. Or the second deal is, the protocol that Ron established, which is totally correct. It's goofy because it's online football, not real football. The defense always hikes the ball, unless they're punting. Because I've had it before where it's like 4th and 4, and I'm contemplating punting, common quarter punt, go over field goal, and the defense will hike the ball. They push okay, and you go, hey, I was thinking about it. I was either going to punt or common corner punt, or I might go for field goal. It just depends. So the protocol should be defense always hikes the ball unless it's 4th down, because then the offense has a decision to punt, common corner punt, and go for it. How do you feel about that, Gary? Let's talk about re-entering the timeouts. How do you feel about that, Gary, as a competitor?
Well, like you already mentioned, I definitely feel like as far as like the god of the football game, Ron. It's like he's calling down, like you messed up, like you need to change something. So I always just take it as a sign, like if I'm getting this thing, I've been burned more times than not when I just say like, oh, I'm just gonna roll with it, and then it's like, all right, touchdown, 20-yard pass, and like I'm in a bad shape. So now I'm just like, if I get it, I'm changing it. So at least this way, like no one can say like you didn't have the choice. And then the offensive thing on fourth down definitely seems like an interesting idea. So you're definitely gonna like have that awareness, and it might be difficult like when you get in the flow of like the defense always calling hike, and then all of a sudden on fourth down, kind of switching gears.
Well, Gary, you say that. That's what we play. That's how we play all the time.
Is it?
Yeah. So you don't even think about it. It's so natural. When let's say it's 4th and 4 on the 42. You always push okay because you do a click the field goal. Not that you try a field goal on the 42-yard line, but you always push a field goal or you punt. You always push okay. So you don't think about it.
You made a really good point. It's only when like you make the conscious decision to go for it that like the other way around works. Like the defense presses hike like normal.
And you're correct. Yeah, fourth down is if you're going for a punt, common corner punt, field goal, the offense hikes the ball as you go for it. But then that gray square is not up there.
Yeah.
When the fourth down gray square is removed, that's when the defense hikes the ball. But yeah, you always hike the ball on offense on fourth down. You don't as much because you tend to go for it more than anybody else. Seriously, I'm being sort of funny and serious.
Yeah.
That's what I say. He'll get field goal 42 or 39. He'll go for it.
Well, I just go by the metrics, like modern NFL.
The point is, we already do it. Offense already hikes the ball. Think about it.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Okay. All right. So 4 games have been played out of 6, the best I can figure out. We're still missing a couple of games, and I'm not complaining. Don't get that wrong. I'm just saying.
No, and we have a reason for one.
Yeah. That's why I'm not complaining. So here's my observations, just me personally, and you guys can weigh in on them or have your own, because you guys played in 3 of the 4 games I'm looking at. We were all playing in them. First thing is, whoever wins the running game war wins the game. 4 for 4. If you had the most rushing yardage, you won the game. Of course, I'm the smartass. Of course, it also helps to have more points than the other team. Usually that team does win. That's my snarky comment. But no, everybody, it was really wild. Like my game, I had 179 yards rushing, and Andrew didn't crack 100. And almost every game, the only game I think the losing team did not crack 100 yards.
Yeah, your stats, you can't argue the stats, but I don't know anybody that's watched this game that hasn't played DDF live. That's those teams. Like I'm playing Indianapolis right now against Gary, and without being funny, I'm destroying him right now because of my passing game.
Yeah.
Andrew, we're playing 2018, so yeah, just in these bigger games.
Yeah, I guess my argument is you got to have. I think you have to have some running. That's the NFL. I think it helps to have a big play. Everybody wants that long pass, that 50-yard long pass. But like my game, I think I had like a couple of 30-yard runs, and one of them actually came off the die roll off his defense. He had like a crazy 25, auto 25. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting observation.
That's a good phrase. It's an interesting observation.
Yeah. Now,
part of me wonders if it's like like some of these teams I've noticed have had a good sized lead going into like the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah.
So like, how much is that kind of like running out the clock, or something like that too, where like the running gets more lopsided if people get more run heavy if they're maintaining the lead.
A good point, because I played a bunch of games. I played a game in Davis too. Cincinnati played Arizona. What was the score going in the fourth quarter? Cincinnati, Arizona, in the Dirty Dozen League game 1. David.
Yeah, it was 12 to. No, you're actually winning 21-0 before he even scored in the fourth quarter.
Right. It's 21-0. So I did what Gary said. I ran a bunch, not because of the run. I'm doing what football does. I'm killing the clock, and the.
Then you did. Hey, the crazy thing about that game too, is how many times Kyler Murray got sacked.
Yeah,
6 times. Yeah.
Surprised me too.
Yeah. Like, wow, how did that even? I thought, I thought you would still have a bunch of quarterback traps because the game has it. It's just that's why I like playing Seattle because Russell Wilson runs for 10 yards. You can't sack him. You can roll the sack, but he's going to run for 10 yards every time. And I thought Kyler Murray would be that way.
That for Jerry Hammond, your Philadelphia team. When
yeah.
Philadelphia
with Mike Vick.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the sack is just like an extra running play.
Yes.
Like, in our league, if you've got Josh Allen, who's going to be my next opponent at quarterback, if there's a way to get him sacked on every single play, I would call that every single time. Like,
he's a novice, fired up individual.
Yes.
As you saw his post today, man.
So you guys were talking about the game that I had with Andrew, kind of offline, I guess you could say, not in the group, and really our game was super close until the final 4 minutes. He was within a touchdown, and I kicked a field goal, and really the only reason I got the 30 was on the last play of the game. I was too lazy to put in quarterback flop, and I called the line plunge, and I don't know what he called anyway. I scored from 10 yards out, so that's the only reason I got the 30. But I don't know about Tampa Bay because Brady, I can't remember if he threw 3 interceptions or he rolled three interceptions, or if I rolled 3 interceptions for him, kind of thing. His offense didn't play very well, so they could be really good 230. I still think they're a good team. Y'all are gonna have to.
Well, I played Brady just recently. I want to say again against Gary. Brady's so successful, but he had some picks. He had like 3 picks against me.
Yeah, the 2020 Brady team, I can't lose with them. They're I can't. I played the Chiefs, and I haven't lost to the Chiefs yet with them. They're just super solid. So it makes you wonder.
They're well rounded.
Yeah, I think that was really the other crazy thing that happened. That here I am lamenting. I feel like I'm one of those coaches. The other problem for Andrew was, and I just joked, I'll say it, I think he got in a loop. He got in this loop where literally every third down pass I threw ended up in a pass interference on him. So I'm rolling down the field because he keeps rolling this defensive PI.
That's right.
And he's just like, holy, he doesn't cuss, so he's not like throwing out. He's just like, this is really disappointing. I'm like, I felt bad for him. It's my superior play calling, evidently. So anyway, that was my game. So hold on, let me make sure. And I think we talked about Allen's game. Anything interesting in the Dallas Packer game, other than clearly the Cowboys won, and I'm happy for Joe.
That's not my game. That's somebody Gary's game.
Yeah, it's Gary's game.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna roll. I was up 14-0. I got the automatic touchdown off the screen from like almost 50 yards away. Like everything was just going my way until it wasn't. And then, somehow like towards the middle of the second quarter, he scored, and then Green Bay's offense picked up like a handful of first downs, but they just couldn't get anything going. Like I got past the 50. I got sacked a couple times in a row, and it took me right out of like any scoring opportunity. But yeah, that was just kind of how it went. Like things went well early, and then I just couldn't get anything going.
It may be the first time that he's going to hate me for saying this. It may be the first time I've ever seen Joe in first place, and that's a lot of tournaments and leagues and that I've.
Who are you talking about?
Joe Betts.
Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I've just gave him some bulletin board material.
No, I think you just edited part of your screen.
Oh,
give me a direct order. Don't make fun of him, because I love that guy. I love most everybody on this page.
All right, so anything interesting other than what we talked about in the Cardinal-Bengal game?
Oh, yeah.
Other than you had a sack. Good for you. I mean, a safety. Don't see those every day.
Well, that was where I thought you were going. What I thought was funny, you said that I was out to 21-0 lead. That 21 was not the way you scored 21 points.
Yeah.
It was a safety. 2 field goals, a missed extra point, and then the normal, 7-point touchdown score. So that was funny. And what I was really amazed about is the defense. Man, he could not run on me. That's.
Trying to think. I guess that could happen. I haven't looked at him.
Yeah, 62 yards rushing is all he got. Which, I've studied the stats, and I don't know what those stats are off the top of my head, but, Arizona's like a 102 to 120 per game rushing. You're going to get that.
Yeah.
And to hold him at 62 is that Cincinnati defense maintaining, containing. Parentheses 3, parentheses 4.
Well, in real life, they definitely had some bursts, like Chase Edmonds would, hit some of those home runs, and you had James Conner, pounding off tackles. So it was really surprising to see Arizona kind of get stifled in the running game.
Yeah, 62 yards.
Burrow was not the hero of the game. I'm reviewing my little synopsis, and it was defense and special teams. Like I said, with field kicker hitting big field goals, and then the defense is stopping the rushing game. That's
3 punts inside the 20.
Yeah, that was a special teams. Yes, that punter knew how to figure out the data.
But that sounds like real life. Like, wasn't Ken Huber like an All-Pro for the Bengals last year?
See, there's where Gary's much better than me by far as knowing the player stuff. I accept this.
I think it's interesting to point out to the guys who don't know this, because the stats. I was going to make a comment. That's probably one of the lowest power ratings I've seen for a team that played in the Super Bowl. But the game doesn't include the playoffs.
How about Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, but the game doesn't include the playoffs. So when Ron makes the game, it doesn't include those playoff games. So that's why they were.
Fortunes.
Yeah. So I just.
Fortunes on a pick 6 or something.
Yeah. Anything else? I don't have any. Anybody have a commentary about the NFL draft last night that they want to make, or?
I miss the old draft. Like, I guess like from my childhood, like, which is different than your guys' childhood. But like, you would have rounds 1, 2, and 3 on the same day, and now like they just want to capitalize on like all the commercials and everything else, and just monetize as much as possible, which has ruined it to me. And there was one meme that summarized it best. If I want to watch 32 picks in 30 minutes, I'll watch Jameis Winston play.
Wow.